Okay, so here is the second transform demonstration that I'm going to give this week. This one is definitely more complex. I'm more than happy to help or to run through this live with you if you want to pop into the drop-in sessions that I have every morning from 9 to 12. Okay, the link is underneath course announcements. It's a Zoom link. So please carefully follow these directions. You may want to stop and pause the video and come back. Students get confused by everything that's going to happen here. I'm going to cover a lot of the transform tools, show you the real power of what you can do, but they are complex. So go ahead and open up 02transform.psd, and this is what you'll have. You will have a document with a single layer on it with a box. Okay, and what we are going to do is make a clock face, or if you remember like the old school Swatch watches, okay, we're going to make something that looks like that using just transform tools. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we are going to take this and move it around a circle. We're going to transform it around the circle, copy, make hour hands, minute hands, then we're going to make some hands to point to the time. Okay, so what we want to do is find the middle of our document. Now, if your rulers aren't up, okay, what you need to do is either you can go to them, get to them in your view, okay, and just click rulers, or Command R, Control R, which depending on if you're a PC or Mac. Okay, now this document should be set to inches. If you ever want to change your rulers, just right click or control click if you don't have right click set up on your Mac, and you can choose pixels, centimeters, points, picas, percent, whatever you want. We're just going to do inches, make things simple. Now you should have by default underneath your view, you should have snap on. Okay, and then if you go below that, it'll tell you what Photoshop will snap to. So right now it's going to snap to your guides, your grid layers, slices, and document bounds. Okay, you can choose, you can turn your snap off if you want to move things around. Let me tell you right away, Photoshop is not the program for doing super precise stuff. Okay, for print, Illustrator is and InDesign both are way better at getting things set up correctly. Okay, you can have a degree of exactness in Photoshop, but it is not ideal. So if you click on your ruler and drag out, you'll drag out a guide. Okay, if you have your snap on, you should be able to snap it right to 5, and then from the top, drag down and let go. You'll feel it kind of grab right at 5. Okay, and let it go. Now, there's another way you can do this. Let me step back. All you have to do is go to View, click on New Guide. It's going to ask you where you want it, horizontal or vertical. So I can say horizontal, 5 inches. Hit OK. Go back again, View, New Guide, vertical, 5 inches. Okay, and this will place it right in the middle as well. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk this around, okay, the center guide. So I'm going to hit Command T to enter free transform. I want to hold down Alt because I'm going to transform around a point. So I'm going to click right in the middle where those two guides meet. I'm going to hold down Shift and I am going to click and hold and pull, and you see how it pulls. It'll even tell you how many degrees it's going to pull. Okay, we want to go to 30 degrees. Okay, and that's pull twice. Hit return or enter to apply the transformation. Now we're going to go ahead and step back because we need this tick here, and we're going to do the step and repeat once again. So that is Command Alt Shift or Control Alt Shift T, and every time I'm holding down Command Alt and Shift or Control Alt and Shift, and all I'm doing is hitting T. And as you do that, you'll see you will walk around, okay, your document. You now have your hour hands for your clock. All right, let me pull my layer palette up here so you can see. Now, of course, this is a little awkward because we have, now 12 total layers. So I'm going to click and select all of those layers. I don't want to select my background. Don't do that because you don't want to merge with your background. And I'm going to hit Control or Command E to merge them all into one layer. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is make a copy of this layer. So I'm going to drag this to the New Layer button. Okay, I'm going to turn off my background there if you want. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to shorten these all the way around and turn them into my minute hands. Easiest way to do that is to grab your elliptical marquee, okay, and I'm going to line up the crosshairs here in the middle where my guides meet. Okay, and as you pull out, okay, you don't want to pull out just like this because it's going to go around. Okay, hold down Alt and Shift. Right, hold Alt and Shift as you pull, and you want to cover just about half. You see I have about half of the ticks or so, like the distance covered. Okay. Once I have done that, I'm going to hit Delete or Backspace because I'm deleting that information. Then I'm going to deselect. Okay. Turn my hour hands back on. Now I want to make sure I'm on the right layer. Okay. So I want to make sure I have the shorter ticks highlighted. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to rotate those to make them my minute marks. Now your minutes occur, you have 60, I was told there'd be no math. There's a slight amount of math here, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to you anyway. So there are 60 minutes in an hour, right? 360 degrees to make a circle. So 60, okay, 6 times 6 is 36. So you need to rotate these 6 degrees. All right, now that's easy enough to do. We're just going to hit Command-T to enter transform. And up here, right where you have this little rotate, okay, I'm going to click inside of the box and I'm going to hit 6. And then I'm going to hit return, and I'll have to hit return twice to apply the transformation. Okay? Now I'm going to do this a couple more times. So holding down Command, Alt, and Shift, I'm going to hit T, T, T. Okay, and I've now made my minute marks. Okay, and once again, you can select now these 4 layers, hit Command-E, merge them onto one layer. Okay, if it helps, you can name your layers, so that's minutes, come on, there we go, and hours. Great, so we have the clock face, fantastic. Now we need the hands. So we're going to make a new layer. Call this one hour hand if you want. I am going to get my rectangular marquee tool, and anywhere here, just want to make sure you're on the right layer. Don't do this on your minutes or hours layer, right? Because you need the separate. I'm just going to click and drag a rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to fill it with the color red. Okay, you can pick any red you want. Right, then I'm going to deselect. Now it doesn't look much like an hour hand here. Okay, we want to pull the top together, make sort of a triangle. Okay, there's a way you can do this in Transform. You could like use the pen tool and draw a triangle out. Okay, I'm going to hit Command-T. I'm going to hold down Command, Alt, and Shift, or Control, Alt, and Shift, and grab from one of the corners and pull inward. And when I do that, you'll notice Photoshop pulls them together. Okay, so let me do that one more time. I'm going to hit Command-T to enter Transform. Okay, I'm going to hold down Command or Control, Control, Alt, Shift, grab from one of the corners and pull inwards, and that's going to pull it together into a triangle. Okay, and hit return. Again, you could draw this with the pen tool, but once you know how to do this, it's pretty easy. Okay, all right, so that's great. In order to make our hour hand, oops, see, I named this wrong. I called it the hour hand. I meant to make the minute hand. My bad. That's totally fine because we'll just call this minute hand. I know it's like, how often do you actually use an analog clock anymore? Okay, I'm going to make a new layer, call that one the hour hand. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Okay, you could copy this and transform it, but I think it's good to practice this. I'm going to grab the marquee. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller this time. Okay, not as tall. I'm going to fill it with that color. Oops, make sure I'm on the right layer, right? Deselect, Command-T, Command-Alt-Shift to grab from the corner and pull in. Okay. Now, if I want to walk these around again, right, I'm going to pull this into the middle. Okay, I'm going to make sure my auto select is off on my move tool. I'm going to hit Command T. It helps to zoom in a little bit. Okay, now remember, you can set where your, see if I try and rotate this now, right? That's not what we want to do. The problem is if you hold down Alt and try and click, it's going to want to let you transform here, okay? The way you get past this is holding down Alt somewhere else and then just drag in and let go. And you'll notice now I can rotate around, okay? So it's slightly tricky. It is a little annoying, I freely admit, okay? I'm going to hit return whenever I'm in a position I want. I want to do the same thing, and I want you to do the same thing to the minute hand. All right, so hit Command T, hold down Alt, click and hold, let go in the middle, okay, and rotate it to a different time. Okay. The last thing I want to do is use my elliptical marquee tool, make a new layer. Okay. I'm going to hold down Shift to make a perfect circle. And I am going to fill that with red, deselect, use my move tool, and if you have your snap on, you'll notice Photoshop will let you snap it right into the middle. Okay, so here is what I want to see. I want to see a different time than what you see here. Okay, so I want you to build the clock and set the minute and hour hand to whatever time that you would like.